If the whole world should be searching for terrorists, they should search for African government because African governments are terrorists. So in 2020, Africa is still living under slavery, and they decided to be slaving people 2020. They slave the people for their right. So the only way for we to do what's right to unite. If black people don't unite, they can't make a changes, and people will still remain being poor in their generation to come because few people want to be the queens and king. So to my observation, to my personal opinion, this is a message for all Africa. They should stop praising kings and queens and pastors and reverend fathers. They should stop all that nonsense because kings and queens are the ones stealing the voice of the people. They are the one making the country and the continent to be in bondage and a lot of corruption because they don't speak for your right and they don't talk to the government and they don't fight the corruption. That's the reason why I say that kings and queens, they are the ones stealing your right because the government buy their talks. When the government give chiefs and queens and king little bit change, peanuts, they will shut down their mouth and nobody will speak for the freedom of the average people that's supposed to live in a better position. So let me just quickly tell you what the politics is all about. Politics is all about giving jobs. Government is all about providing for ill people and this sick people and ill people and the old people. Government is all about creating a job and make the country to be perfect and electricity, road, and factories, and even school, food, and water. So that's the duty and the work of a government. If the government is not doing what it's supposed to do, that means they are corrupting the system, stealing from the poor people so that they will feed up their pocket and their generation to come. So take your quiet time to rethink and rethink. The only thing that will save Africa, that will make the youth of Africa to realize that they are living the wrong way in the wrong places, is to develop their mindset of communication and develop their brain of thinking. They need to they need to encourage their emotionally thinking so that they will get it right because they lost their right because of the little bit changing. The government steal their right from them, and when the government want to use them, they use them as they want. The only way for them to stop those nonsense, the bad security, the bad electricity, the bad road, and the bad schools and lack of food, is to stop worshiping kings and queens in Africa, to stop praising the politicians. They should start voicing for their right. They should not let the government to voice for them. That's number one. Number two, self-development, self-encouragement, and self-build. They need to rebuild themselves so that they will see the reality of the world. So that's the fact. And number three, they need to stop courtesan so that the youth can think. The only bondage the youth saw themselves into in Africa is this courtesan stuff. If they can upgrade their thinking, if they want to be in that position whereby they will be killing their self instead of them to fight for their right and fight for their mother's land, fight for what belongs to them with their voice, they will be using that power to be doing courtesan, using that power to be fighting for color. Leave the color behind you, focus on reality so that you can lay a better foundation. You can make a better foundation for your next generation to come. You're not doing it for yourself alone, you're doing it for your generation to come. Because if you remain in bondage, they will keep slavery you, they will keep killing the innocent soul, and there will be a crime every day in Africa. So the government need to provide electricity and road and water and school and security and taking care of our ill people and sorry, don't get it wrong, and old people. That's the work of the government. So, and the good environment. The youth of Africa, wake up and start living a bondage life. Don't let them think for you, and don't let them make you to live the life they want you to live, because they want you to remain their slave. They are not fighting for you. They are not. There is no government in Africa generally. They are all criminal. They are all terrorists. The number one terrorists in the world, they are Africa government. They are the number one, the most corrupt terrorization group of people in the world. If the world want to chase them, the world should go for the Africa government, not the normal people, because the normal people, they are just the people, and the government is the one